From the Broadcast Center in Regina. Live from the Sedco Center in Saskatoon. CBC, in cooperation with Saskatchewan Lotteries, presents a celebration of the arts, Saskatchewan Reflections.
And a good evening, everybody. I'm Richard Perry in Regina.
And Kathy Little in Saskatoon.
Tonight, a very special 3-hour celebration of the arts here in Saskatchewan.
It seems amazing to think, Richard, that just 1 year ago tonight exactly, we hosted a similar 3-hour extravaganza celebrating the pioneering spirit in Saskatchewan.
That's
tonight,
right,
of course, it's the arts.
That's right. We had a lot of fun a year ago, Kathy, and we hope to do that this evening. Now, one of the first things we want to do is show you from this end of the broadcast tonight what we're going to be doing here at a reception area in the Galleria. Now, of course, if we're talking about the arts, it is somewhat appropriate that we do have some art displayed on the walls. We have some from our own CBC collection, from some private collectors who have been willing to chip in and help us out tonight, and also the Saskatchewan Arts Board. So that's the setting, the Galleria, and we're really in a party mood, okay? And we're going to have a lot more fun before the 3 hours is over. Now, speaking about music, it's very great to be able to announce that Brenda Baker is here with us this evening. Brenda was featured recently on Adrian Clarkson's Summer Festival, seen last week on CBC, and it's nice you could be with us tonight, Brenda.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's a treat to be here.
Now, we had a debate over whether this was vamping or warming up.
This is just getting your act together before the show.
Okay, we're all getting our act together, 3 hours of live television, along with Brenda. Back here we have the string quartet from the Regina Symphony, and I'm not sure if they're vamping or warming up or getting their fingers ready or what, but we're going to be hearing from them, and it's very good you made it tonight, gentlemen. We thank you. Now, we're also going to be talking with a number of our special guests here in the Galleria tonight. From CBC Radio, Bruce Steele will be doing that, and Bruce is somewhere over here. Let's go there now. Bruce?
How about that? An equally artistic opening from this side, too. Richard, thank you. I'm standing by the front doors. There are people of all shapes, sizes, and artistic bents, from sculptured characters to pretty creative dressers coming in tonight. Some of them fashionably late. The Galleria is filling up, as it will, and I'm going to be talking to a lot of them. As a matter of fact, we have a couple right here, right now. How are you enjoying yourself so far?
Oh, thank you. I'm really enjoying it. I'm seeing a lot of friends and familiar faces, and...
You're a member of the arts community, are you?
Well, yes. My name's Jennifer Weber, and I've done a fair bit of acting in Saskatoon, which is actually how I know Chip Chipka here.
Oh, Chip, you're an actor as well, are you?
Oh, yes. Oh, he's done all kinds of work. Let's see, at the Globe Theatre in Regina here, and Persephone Theatre in Saskatoon, Shakespeare on the Saskatchewan and Macbeth.
The classics. What did you play?
Oh, he played Macbeth, actually, and he was so good. A lot of people would probably recognize him from that, except he had hair then, darker hair.
Yeah.
He dyed it.
Chip, how do you make a living as an actor in Saskatchewan?
Actually, he's not in Saskatchewan anymore. He's in Montreal and is back visiting us, I guess.
Well, it's lovely to talk to both of you. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy yourselves throughout the evening.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure we will. Thanks.
Yeah.
Back to you, Richard.
And that Chip has quite a personality, doesn't he? Okay, let's get things kicked off up in Saskatoon tonight by rejoining Kathy Little.
Thanks, Richard. Well, we have just as much artwork on the walls, paintings, photographs, we have sculptures, we have pottery, we have jewelry, and we have all kinds of people here to enjoy the display. Also here this evening, we have live entertainment from Humphrey and the Dump Trucks. Of course, one of the Dump Truck's biggest fans is Peter Granger, our CBC entertainment reporter. And Peter's here too tonight. Peter?
Thanks, Kathy. Hump of the Dumps, as we used to call them back in the old days. Glad that they're here. Glad that everyone else could make it. Many of the members of the artistic community in Saskatoon are right here at the Sedco Center. Not to be outdone by Regina, we have some beautiful artwork on the walls as well. Some of it a bit strange. Take a look at this piece here. Revolution can only come riding on a bicycle. This is what I love about Saskatchewan. Take chances. You're not supposed to know what it means, you just have to think about it a lot. Kathy?
Thanks, Peter. Well, we've got a little bit of comic relief here tonight as well. Now, you've already met some of the comic actors, Jennifer Weber and Chip Chipka. In Regina, they're part of the Yikes comedy troupe. Now, we also have some...
of landscape. It's around here somewhere. It's very realistic. You'll love it. Just like a photograph. The colors just jump right out of the page at you. Like.
Well, hi guys. Yes, it's live television. Thanks so much. The Yikes comedy troupe. Now, comedians, as well as all artists, base their work on the observations they make about people and places. And right now, we'd like to show you some early examples of some of the observations made about Saskatchewan.
The year is 1940. Cecil B. DeMille is ready to release his Paramount production of Northwest Mounted Police. It's his first Technicolor extravaganza. It stars Gary Cooper, Madeleine Carroll, and Preston Foster, boffo box office stars of the 40s. It's supposed to tell the story of the Riel Rebellion of 1885. Unfortunately, DeMille's version of history is terribly distorted. Among other things, the movie shows whiskey runners with a Gatling gun. Only the Mounties had a Gatling gun. The RCMP is so disappointed, it refuses the premiere in the nation's capital. The Regina Board of Trade, meanwhile, has been waiting in the wings. Paramount Pictures seizes the opportunity. The world premiere will be in the home of the Mounties. Like swallowing some bitter pill, the commissioner of the RCMP writes, the commanding officer in Regina, we cannot very well refuse to attend if we are invited. Regina goes wild in a 3-day celebration climaxed by one of the biggest parades in its history. The city is bedecked in Western motif, including a teepee encampment. At the glittering opening night at the Capitol Theater, invited guests receive a program that, among other things, carries the personal message of DeMille himself, saying that making this picture has been his cherished dream. There were also messages from Madeleine Carroll and Gary Cooper. The cast totaled 1,000 with 150 speaking parts, including Robert Preston, who would one day become the Music Man. For a moment, Tinseltown had come to the prairies. Saskatchewan was blitzed with reports of the stars and their activities. And for the first time, it focused the eyes of the entertainment world on a place it had never heard of before.
Now, with a few well-chosen words, I shall blot out the sun forever.
After that, there was no stopping Hollywood. Soon, Bing Crosby discovered the very invoking of our place names could eclipse the sun.
Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
And if that wasn't enough, a Burt Lancaster movie titled Atlantic City almost found Moose Jaw.
Would you like them sent?
Yeah, to Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan.
Moose Jaw?
It's near Medicine Hat.
In 1954, someone in Hollywood decided that the name Saskatchewan might even fit on a movie marquee. Saskatchewan. Yes, another Mountie movie. Starred Alan Ladd and Shelley Winters. The funniest thing about this film wasn't that Alan Ladd was never tall enough to get into the Mounties, but that Saskatchewan was all filmed around Banff, Alberta. Here again, history was distorted. But what really galled the RCMP was this scene.
Get that wagon ready to leave. Then I'm not going with you. Do you realize what you're saying? Yes, sir. Sergeant! Place this officer under arrest. Sergeant, you heard the order. Place this officer under arrest. Sir, I think I agree with him.
The portrayal of an overbearing superintendent confronting a mutiny in the RCMP was unthinkable. It would be many years before a more truthful depiction of Saskatchewan and its people were told by Canadian filmmakers, but that's another story, one you'll see later tonight. Have you ever noticed how the land and the harsh weather and the general tough times, the surviving conditions, how they've all inspired so much of our music here in Western Canada. Right now, Brenda Baker is going to sing a song about farm women called Hole in the Roof.
There's a hole in the roof, and the rain keeps coming through. Oh, there is nothing we can do while it rains. There's a hole in the roof, and the rain keeps coming through. Oh, there is nothing we can do. So I'll just lie here with you. Rain, don't go away. We'll fix that roof another day while you're around. Perhaps he'll stay. The sun would only take him away. Years ago, when I was young, you know that I cursed the rain and I praised the sun. Oh, but now I am grown and I've made my home with a man who tends the land from sun up to sundown. So rain, don't go away. We'll fix that roof another day while you're around. Perhaps he'll stay. The sun would only take him away. There is a hole in the roof, and the rain keeps coming through. Oh, there is nothing we can do. So I'll just lie here with you.
You get a sense of individualism from a place like Regina. And Saskatchewan in general, I've noticed, like, growing up in the artistic community there, a lot of great potters and great storytellers, and who really have a sense of purpose, an undaunted sense of purpose from being from there. For me, when I moved to bigger cities, it was good. I mean, I wouldn't have got those shows I backed up when I backed up John Lee Hooker, when I backed up Stevie Ray Vaughan. Had I been in a big city, I'm not so sure that those possibilities would have been as open as they were.
If you're an artist, or if you're not, if you're just an average person, you probably faced the dilemma of having a speech to give, a special report to write, a microphone to remember to turn on. Various things can happen to you through the course of your creative life. We've decided tonight to put a couple of Saskatchewan poets under pressure to show that it's not just inspiration, it's perspiration that makes art. Joining me for this experiment, two poets in Regina. We have two others in Saskatoon. But first of all, Joe Welsh. Joe, are you prepared for this?
Yes, as prepared as I can be, yeah.
Okay, Joe has his paper, his pens, his pencils in front of him, and a chemistry professor, Ron Welgan, a poet as well. You've done this before, haven't you?
Well, I've taken part in one poetry sweatshop in Swift Current. I'd hardly consider myself a professional at this, though.
Let me explain the rules to everyone involved here so that we all know. I'm going to tear a page out of this thesaurus dictionary. And I'm going to give one page to each of the poets, and I'm going to give them a word from that page. They will base an 8-stanza poem, an 8-line poem, pardon me, an 8-line poem on that word. So let's see what we've got here. Oh, that one's yours. Excuse me. This is the everyday thesaurus for those of you keeping track at home. And kids, don't do this. All right. Disengagement. disengagement, 8 lines of profundity on disengagement, and don't start yet, melodious. 8 lines on melodious. Now, in Saskatoon, Peter Granger has 2 other poets. Peter?
Thank you, Bruce. With me, 2 budding poets from Saskatoon. With me, we have Dolores Reimer. Hi, Dolores.
Hello.
Nice you could be here.
Yeah.
Have you been writing poetry for a long time?
Oh, maybe 6 years, 6, 7 years.
All right. Also, Barbara Fuchs. Barbara, how about you? You've been writing for a while?
About 5 years now.
Are the 2 of you used to this kind of thing? This is, you know, a poetry sweatshop. You're under the lights here in the heat.
We're not used to it, but I think it'll be a challenge. Because writing under pressure, we might come up with something really good. Who knows? We're looking forward to it.
Okay, let's get creative. We're going to pick a couple of words from you. Just to show you that this is totally live, this is the thesaurus. We have one up here, too. This is not an ancient dinosaur. And we'll just open a page and pick a word. Oh, Dolores, optimism is your word. Optimism. 8 lines, optimism. Easy stuff. Barbara, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and... No, that won't work. Wrong. Here's one. Concentrate. That's easy, too. Okay. We're going to have the official start, and we're going to let Bruce Steele in Regina take care of that. Bruce?
Just before we do that, Peter, I'd like to mention the prizes. There are none. All right? Prepare yourselves, poets. 3, 2, 1, create. Richard?
Roses are red, violets are blue. I'm no good at poetry. Kathy, are you?
Well, Richard, the only poem I know is Candy is Dandy, but Liquor's Quicker by Ogden Nash. That's all I know.
We won't ask where you learned that. Anyway, when we come back, the history of music and dance from the lonely beating of native drums right up to modern jazz.
Is how he's actually got the kinds of brushstrokes Vincent van Gogh used, you know, right in the sculpture.
Didn't he cut his ear off or something?
You know, I can't believe that. That's the only thing anyone ever knows about Vincent van Gogh. You know, when I was in Europe, I went to every place Vincent van Gogh ever worked. Oh, I went to find the Yellow House in Arles, except it had been destroyed. I went to the asylum. I went to his brother's house in Paris, and then I went to a little place in London. Oh yeah, it was the saddest place. You wouldn't believe, even more so than the grave. It was the... Chip, what's so funny? Chip?
Well, wherever there is music, you will, of course, find shuffling feet, bodies twisting in all kinds of weird directions and positions. Think of the bird dance. And clapping hands, right? You know, and if you were to summarize all that in one word, one definition, it would be dancing. Well, as Arkan Nyas found out, if you haven't been to a community dance, you haven't been to Saskatchewan.
Welcome to Tyven, Saskatchewan. Believe it or not, in some dictionaries, next to peaceful and quiet, you'll find a picture of Tyven. But behind this door, you'll find something else. Behind this door, there's an artistic ritual going on, a ritual that's been here pretty much as long as the settlers have. Come with me and discover the small town dance. The first people to settle here came from all over Europe. You could hear it in the languages they spoke, but even when the music was too loud to hear anyone talk, you could almost tell from where they came by how they danced. The two-step, shawtees, and of course, the polka. And I know it And things haven't changed much over the years. People still come to the dances for the same reasons they always have. Tonight is a night for forgetting about tough times, catching up on local news, and talking to old friends.
It's the old-time music. We like to dance to that kind of stuff, rather than the younger rock and roll.
Well, now, you're a pretty young, spry-looking guy. Are you...
Not always spry.
Are you rejecting rock and roll?
No. We like that, too, but we like to dance to this better.
Providing the entertainment are the Canadian Drifters, the Fab Five of Prairie Polka.
The thing is about polka is it's a different type of dance. It's a lively dance. For people who know how to do it, it's a lively dance, and you hoop and holler, and you have a good time.
Now, as entertaining as dancing is for spectators, it's only in participating that you really appreciate the art. And if you happen to be born with two left feet, there's still no need to sit on the sidelines. After all, you can always find a brave soul, pardon the pun, who will teach you a step or two. Tonight, my teacher is Enid Gillies.
So what's the key?
Here's what?
Wait, I'll start.
Go ahead. Oh, wait. Hey. It's exhausting.
On, doesn't it?
This is the dance from hell, Enid. This never ends. Thank you very much. Whoa. Whew. They dance for keeps in there. Well, here I am, back on the quiet and peaceful streets of Tyven, Saskatchewan. Well, it certainly is quiet and peaceful out here. Maybe I have time for one more polka. See you later. Bye-bye.
Well, with me is Sharon Mitchell. Sharon is with the Saskatchewan Council of Cultural Organizations. That is a mouthful. And I want to know whether your organization gets enough help from the lotteries, and what do the lotteries do for you?
Well, actually, when you hear the announcements that lotteries support culture and recreation and sports, our organization is the umbrella for 27 organizations that in fact do receive the bulk of lottery dollars. This year we'll have very close to $8 million for distribution throughout the province.
Now, that last item that we saw, obviously culture is important in rural Saskatchewan. Does your council help people out there enough?
We're really the umbrella for 27 different organizations that are spread throughout the province, and they range in three quite distinct areas: multiculturalism, the arts, and also heritage. And as you can see, everything from the Organization of Saskatchewan Arts Council to libraries to the band associations to History and Folklore Society. It's a tremendous range of organizations. Our organization is really just the voice, if you will, the unifying spokes organization.
Okay. How about, you know, if you're getting that money from the lotteries to do all these wonderful things, what does it do for people like me?
I think it provides quality of life in Saskatchewan. It's really quite remarkable for those of us that have grown up in Saskatchewan, and relating back to last year's program, the advancement in the arts and in all our awareness of multiculturalism and our heritage. It's been fantastic, and the growth of the lotteries has really made it possible.
Great. Sharon Mitchell, thank you.
You're welcome.
Kathy?
Thanks, Peter. We have lots more to come on Saskatchewan Reflections, including a reunion of Humphrey and the Dump Trucks and the rock and roll sounds of the Northern Pipes. Ready for some nostalgia? Remember Humphrey and the Dump Trucks? They're a bluegrass country folk band that rocked the country.
If you grew up in the late 60s or early 70s in Saskatchewan, chances are you remember these guys, Humphrey and the Dump Trucks. This country bluegrass band played just about every high school gym and old folks' home in the province. They recorded 6 albums in their career, and this is what they sounded like 16 years ago.
When I rode into town, it was raining.
And this is what they sound like today. Gary Humphrey Walsh, Michael Bear Miller, and Michael Taylor only get together like this on rare occasions. Humphrey and the Dump Trucks celebrated their 20th anniversary last year, although it had been years since they played together. They first met as solo performers at the first and last annual Blackstrap Folk Festival, just outside of Saskatoon. That was back in 1967. It was a love of folk and hillbilly music which drew the Dump Trucks together, not rock and roll.
We chose to play the bluegrass jug band style of music, and to electrify it would have made it somehow impure at one point, and then later on we were having such a good time doing it that we didn't want to or couldn't play rock and roll music.
The band started as a 4-piece, but somewhere along the line, guitarist Graham Card quit. The rest of the band kept going for a few more years, even after folk music fell out of fashion.
What I miss are the folk festivals, the big folk festivals. It's like folk musicians' conferences or conventions. And I do miss being in the performer circle.
You know, traveling around was a lot of fun, but it was just, it's too much. You can't do it all the time. It wears you down, and it makes you broke. I was working in a day job for 2 years, and I'm quitting work because my wife, who's an actress, is going to Stratford to do some acting, and I'm going to be a house husband and get back into my writing again.
I'm the Secretary-Treasurer to the Saskatoon Musicians Association, Local 553, AFM.
For the last 8 years, I've been driving taxi for United Cab. I just seem to hang in there. Not a very good year so far, folks. But it's interesting.
Can't hear him. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Humphrey and the Dump Trucks.
I remember in the early days, 5 people crowded in the space of 2. Police breaking the front doors down, saying we just got a job to do. People laughing as we played around, we could smile it easily. Now the games are played for keeps, and everybody takes it too seriously. We gotta get back to the early ways. Gotta get back to the days of old. The days of making good time music, before the songs were bought and sold. There used to be a feeling running when the man from the city left his town. I'll admit we had some bad times, but everybody has their ups and downs. All in all, I got to say, when I look back, those were good times. We didn't worry about anything else. We were just looking for new rhymes. We gotta get back to the early ways. Gotta get back to the days of old. The days of making good time music, before the songs were bought and sold.
But we had one of my co-workers here today say, man, was the dump trucks who took their country roots to Canada. And right now we're going to change gears a little bit and talk about folk music, which brings us, of course, to Joni Mitchell, an incredible voice, an incredible talent, who certainly remembers where she came from.
I have to come and see you, maybe once or twice a year.
Once or twice every 10 years would be more like it. Joni Mitchell doesn't visit Saskatchewan very often, but when she does, it's always a special time.
The dance halls and the gallery.
A few months ago, when her record company suggested that Mitchell visit some Canadian cities to promote a new album, she agreed, providing Saskatoon was on the itinerary. Although Mitchell left Saskatoon 25 years ago to pursue her musical career, it's still home.
I have great memories of living here. It shows up all the time in the work. In France, they kiss on Main Street. It's full of local references. Chinese Cafe. It never leaves you. Your radio money is booming in the old hometown now. They're putting up sleek concrete, tearing the old landmarks down, paving over brave little parks, ripping off Indian land again.
Mitchell has always been outspoken. Even as a child growing up in rural Saskatchewan, she set herself apart from other children. Because of the Air Force, Mitchell's parents, Bill and Myrtle Anderson of Saskatoon, made frequent moves from Fort Macleod to Maidstone, from North Battleford to Saskatoon. All those moves helped make Joni a perpetual traveler, both geographically and musically.
I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take.
In the 60s, Mitchell played her own unique brand of acoustic music. She quickly became a star of the folk scene.
Came upon a child of God, he was walking along the road.
Her first few albums were like peeking into a teenager diary. Within a few years, though, Mitchell was making more mature pop records. The constant traveling provided a steady diet of diverse cultural influences, which showed in the music. Her journey led to a full-blown love affair with jazz in the late 70s. In the 80s, she seesawed between angry protest songs to the more confessional style of her early days. Above all, Mitchell's songs show she's a keen observer. She's convinced that ability came from growing up on the prairies. Her love of Saskatchewan still resonates strongly in the music.
Everything that you've ever felt, been, admired, figures in the music. You know, I mean, you're pulling your life behind you and pushing it out through the music. And some things go off later than others. Some things go immediately into the work. Some things come out later. You know, I've always thought that had I the luxury of the time, I would like to come back here and stay and do like a whole album about the prairie, you know, kind of my W.O. Mitchell trip.
daydream the thoughts.
When a small musical band from a small province like ours makes it to the big time in the entertainment world, we like to do some boasting, don't we? And we really should do that. Really, because it's only by bragging about our own success stories that people become familiar with the band's music and its name.
Pike, it's a good long fish.
While it's true the northern pike is a fish, it's not exactly what we had in mind. These are the northern pikes we're thinking of, one of the hottest rock and roll bands to come out of Saskatchewan.
Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. I want to find out what I missed.
These four young pikes, Brian Potvin, Merle Brick, Don Schmidt, and Jay Semko, respond in Saskatoon. They got together in 1984 and paid their dues, playing the nightclubs and town hall dances throughout the prairies. Trying to break out of that circuit is as difficult as swimming upstream, but the Pikes have almost made it. At a time when the rock world is embracing guitar-oriented roots music, the Pikes have an edge over the big city hipsters who can only pretend to have a rural heritage.
Now all the rage.
In 1986, a major recording company hooked the Pikes, and today, 2 albums later, they are getting ready to take the plunge into international waters.
You know, I think really what connected us with the band, why we liked the writing so much, and the other half of it was that when the Pikes hit the stage, they have the joy of playing rock and roll, and that's something that I've always been very close to.
That joy for rock and roll comes through loud and clear in their live performances and albums. Northern Pikes have spent the last 4 years building a solid reputation through back-breaking tours, crisscrossing North America, playing the concert and campus circuits. But those years of hard work are now paying off.
Here we all are, standing in a lineup, waiting for a ticket to see all of our heroes. But me.
We'll garner ideas while traveling on the road, playing gigs or whatever we're doing, and then we'll come back home and put it all together and do some rough demos and make the songs come alive in Saskatchewan. And I think it's definitely an important thing for us. I'm glad that we have a base where we can go back and get our lives back in reality, as opposed to the hype that sometimes accompanies being in a rock and roll band.
The Pikes' latest album, Secrets of the Alibi, is already getting airplay across North America, and it'll soon be heard in Europe as well.
You've heard the term overnight success. Well, any musician will tell you there's no such thing. It takes a lot of hard work and education to become a success. Well, there are 2 institutions in Saskatchewan that provide a musical education for young people, as well as providing us with a lot of entertainment. Cheryl Jackson reports.
For 81 years now, the Regina Symphony Orchestra has been performing for the people of southern Saskatchewan. This year, it will present 26 concerts around the city. It's these performances that make most of us aware of the orchestra. What we don't see is the other contributions symphony members make to the community: teaching. Stephen McClellan has been playing bass in the Regina Symphony for 9 years. He's been teaching kids how to play the instrument just as long. 13-year-old Markian Lazowchuk is one of McClellan's 10 students. He may end up playing in an orchestra himself one day, and it's McClellan's job to make sure he's good enough.
The symphony attracts people from outside. They end up teaching at the conservatory. It's kind of a full cycle thing. Young people from the community here get to study with these teachers, or teachers that have been away and come back that were brought up here and that kind of thing. Again, one without the other wouldn't survive.
Saskatoon Symphony is no different. In fact, it went even farther with a program designed to train young music students to play in an orchestra. Professional musicians were brought in by Dwayne Nelson, who was a conductor of the Saskatoon Symphony from 1970 to 1975.
The idea was to inject at each stage professional development.
The teaching program was good not only for the students, but for the symphony as well. It provided a supply of well-trained musicians. The program now operates on its own, but it started a teaching tradition within the symphony.
The players like their role as music mentors, even when they're dealing with kids who don't play an instrument. Going into the schools is the Regina Symphony's way of reaching everyone.
It's not important that everybody play an instrument or anything like that. It's important that maybe they know what the instruments are, what they sound like in different combinations, and that coming out to a concert's a wonderful thing. We're here. Let's use us and get out there and play for people. That's what it's all about.
Ladies and gentlemen, the string quartet from the Regina Symphony with the last movement of a Haydn quartet.
The strings of the Regina Symphony. If there is a family name in the province of Saskatchewan, in the prairies, for music, it must be the family name of the Lowe family. Now a Regina, but not always a Regina, and certainly not always a totally musical family. You made an interesting decision in your lives, didn't you?
Yes.
Can you tell us about it?
Well, we had 3 weeks to decide whether to leave the farm and pursue a different career, and we chose to come here.
How many years ago was that now?
28 years?
Something like that. 1961.
Now, you were a music teacher and wanted to pursue that full time. You were also involved in music, and your 4 children were very musical. Did you have any idea they would become as well known and respected around the world?
No. Discipline was our idea.
Why weren't they out playing hockey? Why were they doing this?
They did.
They did too?
Yes. Baseball, hockey, soccer.
I think we should take a look at your family and who they became, who they are now, and what they've achieved in music. Let's do that right now.
So how did you all end up as professional musicians?
My parents, as you know, are both involved in music. My father's been playing the violin for many years. He used to play on the farm in Manitoba, and when he was asked to go to Regina to teach music at the conservatory, it just seemed natural, I guess, that all of us would start to go into music as we grew older as well, too. Malcolm started playing the violin first, and Cam came along and played the cello, and then me with the violin, and Heather the cello again, too.
Heather, could you give me an idea what it was like growing up in a family like that? What sort of environment did you have?
Oh, it was wonderful, actually. I
Having all the music around me all the time only just made me love it more, because having that, being able to play chamber music and go to concerts and enjoy listening to my brother's practice, it just made it all that more strong for me.
Cameron, I wonder if I could just ask you what your attitudes are toward music education here in Saskatchewan.
Well, I think there's more recognition of arts in general in the education system, and its importance and its relationship to other study. And I enjoyed very much growing up and the opportunities that the city presented for a young musician, and I encourage other young people to take part in that atmosphere.
Saskatchewan still influences Malcolm Lowe with the Boston Symphony.
I find just the open spaces, the open sky of Saskatchewan, the people, the nature of people in Saskatchewan, and I find here in Boston even, one of my favorite places is going to the ocean. I have to get there once in a while, and I'm sure that's because of growing up on the prairies.
There they are, your kids.
Thank you very much.
Did you enjoy that?
Very much.
I think the move to Regina was worthwhile.
The Lowe family. And I'd like to thank you on behalf of all of us for all the music you brought to this province. It's a wonderful thing to do. A gamble that paid off very well. Thank you. Peter, in Saskatoon.
Thank you, Bruce. With me is Dale Malden. I hope I pronounced that right, Dale. Now, you are with the Saskatchewan Band Association, and I'm sure, as we saw in that piece, so many people go through music lessons. How was it for you growing up in Moose Jaw? I would assume that it was pretty grueling.
Not really. I guess I enjoyed the lessons. I didn't like practice. And as I went through, I enjoyed it more, and ended up, now I'm teaching music, so it must have been worth it in the end, I guess.
Were you like the typical kid who's sort of stuck with the piano lessons instead of being out there playing ball with everybody else?
Yes, except it was trumpet lessons, not piano, but the same thing. You had to practice an X amount each day, or else you didn't get anywhere. And if your teacher or your parents were there all the time giving you what for if you didn't practice, so you practiced.
Well, obviously you practiced really hard because you're now president of the Saskatchewan Band Association. How important is the association to promoting music in the province?
We feel that it's very important. We have a number of major projects that we run throughout the year. We have our summer junior band workshops. This year was the third year we operated them, and we had over 400 students take place. We have our Canada Band Week in Saskatchewan, which was originally started in Saskatchewan as Saskatchewan Band Week, and then has gone national. And that's in October 31st to November 5th. And we promote the bands and have clinics for all the kids and for the directors on the weekend. And then we have our annual meeting at that time as well.
Great. Thanks, Del.
Thank you.
Okay. Back to Regina and more music lessons.
One of the people involved very deeply in the Regina Folk Music Festival and other folk communities, but you didn't start off playing guitar and singing songs, did you?
Well, no, I had, I guess, rather gruesome beginnings. I remember my first music lessons, our family would go to Nipawin, and I'd visit our step-grandfather, Carl Craig, bless his soul, and he tried to teach me the fiddle. He was quite a great fiddler, and he got me at 10 years old on the fiddle, bowing every day, and I learned Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. I could scratch it out, but it was such a pain in the neck. I couldn't play. I thought I'd never play another note.
Did he decide he was going to give you up because you were giving up the fiddle? I mean, was this major league important to him?
Well, he thought it was great if he could teach the kids and the grandkids to play, because my father also played the fiddle. But I gave it up. I said I'd never play again, and then rock and roll came along.
Terrible music lessons, terrible music experiences, but they go on to be stars in Saskatchewan. What else can we do in the winter? We practice, we work. Let's go to Saskatoon.
Thanks, Bruce. With me, I have Murray Moats, who's with the Prairie Opera Association, and also Dorothy Howard, who's with the Saskatoon Opera Association. Now, opera, obviously, you have to practice a lot. How was it for you, Murray, growing up as a kid?
well, I didn't start till a little bit later, but it was kind of tricky fitting that in around football practice, I must say.
Now, Catherine, I understand that you actually teach opera. How is it with some of the youngsters that you teach? Do they resent having to be stuck in a room learning all those notes?
Oh, not really. They're adults, young adults by the time I get them, so they've decided that's what they want to do, and they're quite anxious to do it. And I just have to say that the CBC is responsible for me being a singer because I used to listen to the Met broadcasts every Saturday afternoon.
Now, how about the future of opera in Saskatchewan? I would think that it's wide open because, you know, opera is not something you think of every day.
No, it's a field that's just starting to grow. We're starting to promote the talents of young Saskatchewan performers and, of course, featuring Saskatchewan people, and that's why Prairie Opera started.
Good. Kathy?
Thanks, Peter. It's quiz time, but you won't get shot and you won't be forced to guzzle a bottle of wine if you get the answer wrong. The question is, what do Shakespeare and Saskatchewan have in common besides having a lot of letters? Find out when we come back.
I just know I think if there wasn't art in the world, we'd be unhappy. I think it gives people the opportunity to have peace, to find joy, to experience ecstasy. It makes our life fuller, makes my life fuller, and it opens me up to many possibilities that are in this world.
Good evening, students, and welcome to Acting Workshop 115.74. Now, you near the back, near the door, just come on in, come on in. Don't be shy, just step forward, because you're probably blocking the way of others at the back who'd also like to come in. Very good. Here we all are. Well, welcome again to Drama Workshop 115.74. And as you recall, last week, we learned that acting is believing, right? And if we want our audiences to believe us, then we must believe who? We must believe ourselves. Yes, let's do a little acting is believing exercise right now. I'll need some volunteers. Hugh, you, and you. Hop up, come on up. Now the rest of you will have to do this on your own. I'll trust you. Okay. All right, now let's all believe that we are something that we're all familiar with, something from nature. How about, let's say, a rabbit? Let's all believe we're a rabbit. Everyone. Come on, let's believe we're a rabbit. Right. Let's all believe, then, that we are one rabbit. All right, let's use a little teamwork here. Now, you're a big fella, aren't you?
Yes.
Right. Why don't you crouch down here? Just crouch down. Go ahead. There. Now, you are going to be the rabbit's powerful haunches and fuzzy feet, all right?
All right.
Very good. And you, come on over here. Lean right over him. There he is, your haunches. You are the rabbit's head and torso. You have the rabbit's little furry paws and the twitching nose, don't you? Very good. And you, young man, over here, over here. Now, you're going to lean over here. You're a very important part of the rabbit. Your long, sensitive ears. Here you go. Put your hands up. Long, sensitive ears. There you go. Now, what are you?
I am the rabbit's powerful haunches and fuzzy feet.
Very good. And what do you do?
I go hippity-hop.
No, that's silly. You don't do that. You go thump, thump, thump through the tall underbrush. Don't you? Thump, thump, thump. Do it, do it. Very good. Now, you have the rabbit's mouth, don't you?
Yes.
And what do you do with that?
Eat.
Very nice. Are you hungry now?
Yes.
Oh, what are you hungry for?
Pizza.
No, rabbits don't eat pizzas. Rabbits eat what? What do rabbits eat? Someone? Quick. Carrots. I heard carrots. Yes, they eat carrots. Let's imagine that there are some carrots here. Reach out and grab them. Grab those carrots. Nibble. Very nice. And you are what?
Long, slender ears.
Yes.
And I hear.
Very good. You hear something now? I hear something now. I'm telling you, I hear something now. And if I was a rabbit, I'd be pretty upset because I'm hearing. I think it's.
Where's it coming from?
It's coming from over there. It's a carnivore of some kind, and it's getting closer and closer. And oh my! It's a weasel. It's a weasel. Look at it. Whoa! What's wrong?
Well, it's a weasel.
And what are you?
I'm the rabbit's feet.
And what were you doing?
I'm running away.
Oh, hug this sensitive boy. Give him a hug. He's wonderful. All right. Now, that was so much fun. Let's try something a little more challenging, kids. Let's all be a front-end loader, all right? A front-end loader. Now, you get down here like so. Very nice. And you get back up here, and you're going to be ready. There you go. And you do something like this. Yes, that's good. There we go.
Well, very few of us who've ever tried our hand at acting actually get started by just jumping up on the stage and acting, because there are indeed many, many important things to learn. And a man who was one of our best teachers in this province is the subject of our next profile by Carol Adams.
This building was an airplane hangar. It still looks like one, but inside, budding actors, actresses, playwrights, and directors are developing their talents. It's happening today because of the dedication of one man back in 1945. His name is Emrys Jones. It started here, the University of Saskatchewan Drama Department. In the 40s, the only place in the entire British Commonwealth where students could actually get a degree in drama. A degree program set up by Emrys Jones. As a professor, he would push actors and actresses to their limit, but they didn't seem to mind.
He was rather an eccentric. He'd sit at the back of the theater with change in his pocket, and if people weren't speaking loud enough, he'd start to rattle his change in his pockets. Can't hear a word they're saying, can't hear a word they're saying. And his wife used to nudge him in the ribs.
Dennis Hunt acted in a few productions with Jones. He says Jones was a perfectionist.
Emrys was a little different as a director. Many directors will give you the script and it'll be completely naked and empty, and except for the words in it. But Emrys had this, or at least he did with Dial M for Murders. He presented us with the script, and as you can see, it's meticulously marked. Every single move that he wants is in there.
And I do remember one prominent chap who played a lot in the Gateway Players and elsewhere after he was with Emrys. He said he felt that the discipline he had learned, much as he disliked it at times, certainly helped.
It was that attention to detail that allowed many of his students to move from the university level into professional theater. Actresses like Frances Hyland, Jones's prize student, who went on to become an internationally known actress back in the 50s.
He wasn't just a university professor by any means. He thought of the theatre as a commercial enterprise.
He's called the father of Saskatchewan drama, a title that suited him well.
A person of incredible importance to Saskatchewan drama is with me in Regina right now, a man who is the longest standing artistic director of a theater company in Canada, Ken Kramer of the Globe. Welcome.
Well, thank you.
Tell me something, how important is theater and culture and drama especially to the keeping of our culture, the keeping of our history, the keeping of our traditions in a province like Saskatchewan?
Well, it's not just the province of Saskatchewan, it's the country of Canada, it's the world. I mean, in my view, all of the arts is part of our cultural memory and part of the memory of what we are and what we feel and what we do. And the theater is a part of that and a very important part of that.
What would we do you think, without the theater as a help hand?
Gee, I wouldn't be here. No, I mean, without theater is storytelling, and theater is about as basic an art form as you can possibly find. There's been theater around since the Greek days in written form, and then there was certainly theater before that, just in terms of people telling each other their stories and understanding their stories and trying to understand how the world works. And, there will always be theater. I don't think television will surpass it. I don't think movies will surpass it. I don't think rock videos will surpass it. It may be bigger, it may be smaller, but it'll always be there.
This is a province of incredible amount of theater, isn't it?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there are 4 or 5 active professional theater groups in Saskatchewan, and there probably could be more if there was more money around.
To say nothing of the amateur groups almost everywhere you turn.
Well, that's true as well, yeah.
Let's go to Saskatoon, where there is yet another denizen of the theater in this province. Peter.
Thank you, Bruce. With me is Tibor Faheragazi from Persephone Theater. This is the first time he's had makeup on in literally years. Is that right, Tibor?
That's right, but they told me you have to have it. You have to. I don't know. I rehearsed all day, Ken. I rehearsed all day. I worked. You have been home. I know I spoke to you.
Now, you heard Ken Kramer there. Do you really think
I didn't hear him. I heard that lady behind me. What
was it? Ken Kramer was saying that theater really helps keep culture alive. Now, would you agree with that?
Yes, because you see, I don't need to drive taxi at the moment. But what's culture?
Isn't that something in a lab dish?
No. It's something very interesting. They say that culture, somebody said that helps human dignity, helps communications, you know, frightening, you know. So I think theater does lots of things, but we in Saskatoon, we do very different things, you see. We are on the edge of everything. You know, I convinced New York once, you know, we went off Noises Off, and they didn't want to give the rights to me. They thought I was an outskirt of Toronto. So I asked them, do you know where is the North Circle, you know, the Arctic Circle? And I said, just go to your map. 2 weeks later, they gave it to me, says, there, you can take it, you can take it. So we can do lots of things here in Saskatoon.
I wanted to ask you that because I've always felt we're on the fringe here. We can take the risks that they can't make in Toronto or Vancouver, right?
Right, exactly, because the Globe and Mail doesn't come here. you know, but anyway,
We've got a disagreement here in Regina.
For example, I'm just doing a Hamlet, which I went after the people, like you see. I didn't care what kind of person he is, if he's a prince. So I don't care about the skin, about the accent, you know, and nobody will see it except our Saskatoonians, I hope so. Anyway, and we broke through lots of things, and I don't worry about it. I think we do something very courageously. And I am growing here. You know what I mean? I'm growing artistically.
Apparently, Tibor, down in Regina, King Kramer disagrees with you.
Just kind of use the fact that we're in the middle of the provinces as a kind of excuse to do fringe work, or should we be attempting mainstream too as well?
Well, no, I mean, I've always felt that Toronto was on the edge and we were in the center.
Good.
And you know, I mean, the fact is that some of the most exciting theater in Canada is happening in Western Canada, and a lot of that is happening in Saskatchewan. So I don't think we have to really worry about you know, about playing second fiddle to the boys in the East.
Have you ever used any of the tricks Tibor is talking about in getting your way, shall we say, with theater here?
No. No, people are delighted to come out here. You know, there's the odd actor who's afraid of the cold, but I think once the actors get here, they find Regina's a very, very nice place to be, and Saskatchewan's a very nice place to be, and the audiences are absolutely incredible. And then, you know, we don't really have a problem getting people out here at all.
Tibor, is there a better place to work?
Not really, because it is wonderful to take chances. But I tell you something, Ken is right. Regina is the center of the world, because in 1967, you invited me to work for you, remember? And I got so scared that I went back to Toronto.
I remember.
Well, thank you.
Serious.
Thank you both for doing what you've done for this province in theater. And thank you for coming out tonight and joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love you, Ken.
Kathy?
We'll agree one day.
Thank you. Well, there are many fine theaters in Saskatchewan, the Globe Theatre in Regina, Persephone in Saskatoon, and 25th Street in Saskatoon. Now, these theaters have comfortable seats inside heated buildings, but there's one theater group in Saskatoon that's enjoyed enormous success, even though it operates out of a drafty tent.
Come, you must not look so sour.
He's my fashion when I see a crab.
Shakespeare, Saskatchewan style. This production of Taming of the Shrew is word for word from the original play, but the setting is pure Saskatchewan, boomtown Saskatoon at the turn of the century. This kind of renegade stagecraft is typical of Shakespeare on the Saskatchewan. And some people are beginning to see this modest festival as a cocky rival to the better-known Shakespeare Festival in Stratford, Ontario. And that pleases creator Gordon McCall.
The river was sitting there looking beautiful and saying, why not? Why not have a Shakespeare Festival here? That's what happened. Stratford in Ontario started in a tent in 1953, and we know what it is today. And we started in a tent, and we're getting a similar response. The community's responding.
The blue and white circus tent Shakespeare on the Saskatchewan uses has become a permanent fixture in downtown Saskatoon every summer. But it didn't start that way. McCall admits it was tough going in the beginning. Good acting on stage didn't guarantee big audiences. In 1986, the playwright himself assisted. The actor playing Will Shakespeare agreed to stay in the middle of the South Saskatchewan River until enough donations would save his play The Tempest from financial ruin.
It's a good play, really, I must admit. It's a really darn good play, actually.
The play was saved. Then last year, Shakespeare on the Saskatchewan did what few theater companies would ever dare, canvassing Saskatoon neighborhoods for support.
Come see Shakespeare on the Saskatchewan.
Volunteers collected enough money going door to door to keep the festival going for another year.
And when in swine you sleep, that wretched nature's lies is in the death.
For all its creative fundraising, what really sets Shakespeare on the Saskatchewan apart is its unconventional performances.
Bring forth men, children only. For thy undaunted metal should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked with blood those sleepy two of his own chamber and used their very daggers, that they have done it?
This year, McCall and company are really laughing. During the festival's 7-week run, the tent was sold out almost every night. And Shakespeare on the Saskatchewan is looking forward to even bigger things next year.
Art, basically like literature, is what survives over generations and over centuries. It's not what the critics say, usually, art is, but what people continue to hold valuable as their own creations, as the creations of their culture and their society. The reason that it's important is quite simple. That's the glue that holds a society and a culture together, this system of shared beliefs.
Back in 1975, we wrote a little play about Ukrainian-Canadian truck drivers from Saskatoon. And when we get back, we're going to sing a couple of tunes for you from that show.
Welcome back to Saskatchewan Reflections. You can, of course, have music on its own, or drama without music, but put the two together, double your pleasure. Right now, here is Humphrey and the Dump Trucks with Cruel Tears.
Okay, we're going to do a couple of tunes from Cruel Tears now. The first one's Lady of the Prairie, and the second one is One More for the Women. We're not even going to talk in between them. That's our way. She was a lady of the prairie, and though she thought she'd never marry, I stole that gal and we left that one-horse town. She said she'd always call me Papa if I would treat her proper, and I swore I'd never let that good gal down. You know my life was a barrel of fun, my world was in my arms. She had me up there sitting on a cloud that was gold spun. I took her far off to the city. She was looking pretty. Then one day I turned and she was gone. Yodeling.
It was amazing. He came right to the thing. So anyway, Ernie Linner was a family friend, and he used to bring me cherry chocolates every Christmas, so I'd bake him cookies in return. Anyway, that's why I was so excited when I got my invitation to come to this.
You were invited to this?
Yeah, weren't you?
Jennifer, I have to go. Over there, there's a woman that I'm going to talk to who I kind of know. I'm going to talk to her alone. Okay, so it's been really nice bumping into you, and look, maybe I'll see you tomorrow or something. We can have lunch, okay?
Yeah. Oh, Chip, Chip, where are you staying so I can call you for lunch?
Doug's.
Doug's.
I say, come on home now, sweet mama, back to the arms of your own papa. We'll forget the past and let what's done be done. You know my life was a barrel of fun. My world was in my arms. she had me up there sitting on a cloud that was gold spun. But then she melted like a vision. I still can't taste her kisses. She left me standing in the glaring evening sun. Thank you. It's one more for the women, one more for the road. Gas my truck, wish me luck, it's time to go. Tell old Debbie at the Blacktop Bar I ain't going all that far, but I got a heavy load. Give me one more for those women, one more for the road. Now I'm the type of guy who likes to travel. My home is wherever I go. Women are found in damn near every town. That's something you ought to know. It always makes them cry when you gotta say goodbye. When you gotta go, you gotta go. Give me one more for those women, one more for the road. Pick one out there, man. Headlights glow. I'll be there with time to spare. You're gonna hear my air horn blow. The cops on number one, you know, I keep them on the run. I ain't no for being slow. Give me one more for those women, one more for the road. There's a gal waiting for me in Regina. Where's that now? And one about halfway down the road. Ought to be Davidson. Lots of gals, good old pals, the best I've ever known. Well, they'll back you up when you're out of luck. True knights of the road. Give me one more for those women, one more for the road. It's one more for those women, one more for the road.
Well, not all productions make a national tour like Cruel Tears or Paper Wheat, but it all has to have started somewhere. All these very talented people started somewhere and worked their way from the ground up. Now, right now, we know that somewhere out there are many young stars in training. And if interest at the community level is any indication, one Saskatchewan town should do very well.
This year, how many want to ask?
Margaret Luke shouldn't have any trouble finding volunteers for the upcoming high school play. Luke is the drama coordinator at Porcupine Plain High School. She's been in charge of the program for 21 years. And when you get a quarter of the student population turning out for the first drama meeting of the year, you must be doing something right.
Why did you sign up this year?
I don't know, I just like acting and I've seen a lot of the plays and they look really fun.
That's how most of these students feel. Maybe that's why the Porcupine Plain Drama Club has made it to the provincial high school drama finals 9 out of the last 10 years. Luke says when you get the whole town involved in something like drama, it helps to enrich the community.
When you're working on a play over the period of, say, a month and a half, 2 months, you become very close to the other person. A lot of personal relationships have to be sorted out and dealt with, and you know that person really well. It's not like just saying hi to your neighbor on the street. you start to realize that they have commitments and that they have feelings and emotions that sometimes are not in the script, but they come out in those offbeat times, and you have to deal with them.
Friendships aren't the only things to come out of drama. For students like Carrie Levick and Derek McCabe, acting has been a way to build up their confidence.
You're not going to blame me.
Blame you for what? What did you do?
I didn't do anything, but I don't want to get blamed for it.
I was very shy, very, and I had an awful time getting in front of people until I started to do drama, and it makes you more outgoing, usually.
Would you suggest other people get involved?
Yeah, it makes public speaking a whole lot easier. It's useful in later life.
In many small communities, sports has played that role, giving kids a chance to excel outside the classroom. But when winter hits Porcupine Plain, it won't be the skating rink that keeps the community together, it'll be the stage.
Well, some of those students may think it's a long way from Porcupine Plains to Hollywood. But that trip has been made by at least one person. John Agopsovich from Regina has made it. Now, if that name isn't familiar, how about John Vernon? Or maybe Wojak?
What is it about acting that so appealed to you?
Well, I think basically when we're kids, we're all actors. We're all making believe. And I may have had a different attitude because I had a lot of acne in my face. And when I put the grease paint on, they disappeared, and I was a human being again.
What are some of the benefits that your Saskatchewan background has brought to your craft?
Well, I think there were many. I think a small town is a terrific place to start. If you've got anything on the ball at all, people will notice, and they'll get behind you, as they did in my case, and Francis Hyland, and John Vickers, and a lot of other people like that. There was a dramatic group at the little theater. It was very healthy and a lot of fun. The true amateur spirit in terms of loving what you're doing is very important. So I found no disadvantage at all. In fact, I found it a help. You get into a larger city like Toronto or, or LA, and that, there's thousands of people who want the same thing as you. No, a small town is a good place to start, that's for sure, I think.
Creative tension. This is it, folks. This is people under pressure, artists breaking the pencil. You can see the sweat pouring from this man's brow. Gather round as we hear the first poem from the Poetry Sweatshop by Joe Welsh. It's entitled Disengagement.
This is written in libret English. My son, he getting married to that Lisette Ayot girl. He don't have a job. She can't cook. I don't know what they do. Till yesterday, they tell me they want to live at home. So I tell them I don't agree with this engagement.
Peter in Saskatoon, top that one.
Oh, I think we can handle that, Bruce. We have a poet by the name of Dolores Reimer. Catch that name, Reimer. What a great name for a poet. Now, we'll just refresh your memory. Optimism was the word. Now, maybe you can read your poem, Dolores.
Okay. Grandma's dance. The child keeps hope in his eyes, anticipates motion through her door, waits for the right movement. The steps go forward, together, apart, smile, candy in hand, step back. They've practiced before the way to dance a greeting.
There you go. Check that one out, Bruce.
Okay, I would be the last one to tell you that there's anything wrong with working on a pig farm, because I did some work on one. Now, if you were to ask Ken Mitchell if leaving the pig farm paid off in any way whatsoever, you could guess at his answer. Right now, the story of a great writer.
The buffalo are gone.
There's no food, no future.
From the dying dreams of a desperate people to the desperate dream of a dying man.
But he did move it.
Now snuff out the candles, let the smoke be drawn.
From the darkness of a prairie tragedy to the lightness of prairie comedy. The work of Ken Mitchell, wildly varied in form and content, draws strongly upon his rural Saskatchewan roots.
We have a huge extended family that goes back that way for a couple of 100 miles, you know, and they get together all the time, pretty regularly, and I'm part of that and continue to be. These are people who communicate through stories that they tell. It's a very strong oral tradition, and ever since I was a very, very small child, I can remember my uncles and my aunts just telling stories about their past and about the past of you know, family history and where they came from, but also just gossip about the neighbors and jokes about one thing and another. And for what it's worth, I think I grew up being able to do that, being able to concoct a story just out of experience, being able to tell it again. And essentially that's what I am. It's what I always seen myself as being. No matter what medium I work in, I'm a storyteller.
It was on this farm that Ken Mitchell grew up. Snuggled against the Moose Jaw city limits, it offered the advantages of rural living while not isolating the Mitchells from the benefits of city life. But for Ken, it seemed a prison.
When I was growing up here and going to school in town, I must say I didn't have much use for it. So in part, I think it was a very powerful motivation for me to seek the intellectual life somewhere, and I did. When I finished high school here, I went away.
So began a life of globetrotting. Canada, Europe, the Mediterranean, China, Tibet. Ken sought the adventure that seemed to lie beyond his Saskatchewan horizons. He traveled, he wrote, but he also came home.
I like to think that I have a strong sense of community and commitment to a community, which is why I continue to live in Saskatchewan and work here and try to encourage other people to do the same. For once, the direction, I'm talking about the arts now in particular, I think is going our way. That is, I think that in a period of modern technology and communications, with the ability that we have to communicate globally now, it's now possible to stay in Regina or in Moose Jaw and do what you used to have to go to London or Paris or New York or Toronto to do.
There's a man who says that he wants me, but he cannot fill my needs. There's a man who says that he needs me, but he's not quite what I want. There's a man who says he'll love me, but he cannot be my friend. And there's a man who wants to be my friend, but he will not be my love. So how do I feed this hungry heart? How do I keep it from tearing apart? How do I heal this open wound? And how do I keep from writing words I swore I never would? See, they've all been used before, though I cannot remember just where. I know the poet used them with eloquence, and the playwright used them with flair, the philosopher with reason, and the singer gave them with heart. But a layman will steal to make them his own, as though he'd written them all from the start. So how do I feed this hungry heart? How do I keep it from tearing apart? How do I heal this open wound? And how do I keep from writing words I swore I never would? There's a man who says that he needs me. Another says I for the singer, the playwright, the poet. They said it better than I could have said. So how do I feed this hungry heart? How do I keep it from tearing apart? How do I heal this open wound? And how do I keep from writing words? How do I keep from writing? How do I keep from writing words I swore I never would?
The life of an artist can often be frustrating and lonely. Perhaps that's why artists are so often eager to share their expertise. For example, Fort San, which was first built to breathe life into tired lungs, has for more than 2 decades been used to rejuvenate the spirit of artists.
The Summer School of the Arts at Fort San lies nestled in the Qu'Appelle Valley. It's been an artist's haven for 21 years. But even before the school got its permanent home in the valley and its name, artists were getting together for workshops. William Riddell was one of the people who got the workshops and later the school started. He was the chairman of the Saskatchewan Arts Board from 1950 to 1964.
The timing was right. All over the province there was this yearning for something. The post-war period, they'd gone through all of the stress of war, the restrictions that there had been. Now there was a desire to do things.
The school was a success right from the start. Florence James, a well-known drama teacher, was brought up from the States for the first workshop in 1950.
There was a demand for all sorts of things, not only drama and music, but writing, ballet, weaving, spinning, jewelry, and so on.
In those days, the workshops were held in any buildings the Arts Board could find. In 1967, it moved into its permanent home in what used to be a tuberculosis sanatorium. That year, more than 600 people studied at the school. By the next year, that number had doubled. One of the reasons for the school's success was a commitment to hiring the best instructors around, people like Robert Croach and Eli Mandel. Anne Campbell is a Regina writer. She wrote her first poems at Fort San back in the late 70s.
Logs rolled over muskeg, tied tight together, dark, only me awake. I suddenly felt as though I'd come home. I felt as though there were people who had the same perspective, who had the same interests, who valued the things that I valued, and I felt as though I had a place and a context. And we would work hard all day. At night we would get together and gab and go into Fort Qu'Appelle and dance and have wiener roasts and drink and fall in love, and it was a very rich period of time. There was just a lot of activity and energy moving in every area.
That energy continues to move. This year the Summer School of the Arts offered 27 courses and attracted more than 1,200 students.
It's not often we get a chance to get some free lessons on anything. Tonight we've assembled 5 Saskatchewan writers and poets, and we're going to find out just what makes them tick. What makes writers write? To my right, here in Regina, Rex Deverell, Judy Krause, Ken Mitchell. And in Saskatoon, 2 writers, 2 more of us to join this panel, Barbara Supergia and Anne Shemagulski. Is everyone with us on this question? Are you ready? I don't know who to toss it to first. I think Ken Mitchell. Why do people write? What makes a writer tick?
People write because they're compulsive liars, and they need to find a medium for their expression.
Compulsive liars?
Basically, yes, I think that's what it is.
Would everyone agree with that?
Well, I think that's true, but I also think people are curious about themselves and the world and the human experience. So I think curiosity is a big motivator for a lot of writers.
Anne, in Saskatoon?
I totally disagree with Ken. It's because we want to tell the truth. If our truth comes in the form of lies, then let's not tell everybody else. Let's just tell each other.
It kind of makes you wonder when you're reading a book, is this person lying to me? Ken Mitchell appears to be. Is that the case? Barbara, how about you?
I don't know about lies. I think partly you write because you feel compelled to write it and because it's the thing you love to do the most.
But when someone says, how do I write? Where do I start? What do I do? Rex Deverell, what do you tell them?
I tell them not to.
I tell them it's insane. It's a process that will give you heartburn, heartache, and just on occasion, after a lot of sweating and a lot of feeling that you've gone insane because you can't quite understand why you have to do this, you know. You come out with something that somehow or other seems to bridge the gap between you and other people.
But in Saskatchewan, isn't it a little tougher? I mean, people in the East, I dare not name provinces nor names, say things like, if I read the word sky or cloud or prairie one more time in a Saskatchewan work, that's it.
Well, I'm inclined to sympathize with those people. I am, by and large, I think that's overdone in Saskatchewan writing.
Barbara?
On the subject of one more sky or one more wheat field, I don't think that's the issue. I think writers here write about everything and anything, and that's what they should do.
Does it matter where you're from? Does that taint you at all? Is it very important? Is it not important at all?
Well, it forms you and it shapes you, but it's not the only thing about you. What would you say, Anne?
Well, everybody is from somewhere. We could refer to Shakespeare as that poet from the provinces, if we wanted to, and certainly he was. And I also think we do write about everything. I'd like to go back, though, and say, whoever it was it Rex that said he loved writing? Or was it you? I hate writing, but I love to have written. I think writers are very lazy people, and we have to be goaded, prodded, and sometimes bribed to write. But
Judy Crust, do you have to be bribed to write?
Yes, I have to be forced to sit in my chair, and I can't come out of my room until I produce something, right? Yeah. No, it's a very difficult process, and yet, like Anne, it's one that when you've actually produced something, you feel wonderful.
What's the future of writing in this province? The past is rich, very rich. Is the future that way too? Anne?
I think the recent past is very rich in Saskatchewan. I think the last 20 years have seen so many new poets, so many new writers. There's been a really great flowering of literature in Saskatchewan, in the West altogether, but particularly in Saskatchewan. Of course, I hope that when we all shuffle off, there will be plenty of young writers to shuffle on. We're trying to do something about that right now. I believe Saskatchewan is the center of the poetry world. I've always thought that, at least ever since I've been here.
I'd just like to add that I think it's about to become the center of the fiction and playwriting world as well.
Ken Mitchell?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm continually impressed by the younger writers that I see coming along. The next generation that's in place now, I think probably Judy qualifies as one of those people. And what they're going to do in the next 20 years makes what we've done in the past 20 years look like very small potatoes indeed, I think.
Rex?
Saskatchewan is a place of art. It's a place that was created out of a great vista and a great sky.
Room to think?
And well, who was it that said that man stands against the horizon like an exclamation mark? This is the place to write.
Out in the audience are potential Saskatchewan poets, playwrights, writers. Words of advice? Anyone volunteer?
Keep at it. It's the long haul that counts. And those, yeah, absolutely. Those of us who have done it here have been very much of the mind that a flash in the pan is worth nothing at all. It's the salt of the earth that counts.
Judy?
Well, like Ken, I would say, certainly keep at it. Get involved in the writing community, take some courses, get to know people. That helps.
Anne? Sorry, Barbara.
Or you could join a writing group, find people that you trust and get them to give you feedback on your writing and just do a lot of it.
Support for everyone in this province, isn't there, Barbara?
I think there is, yeah. The structure's there.
Anne?
I want to say read. I think any young person who's going to write, or old person who is writing, should realize you cannot write unless you read, and we've got lots to read here. So from reading what's already been written, even better writing will come. But don't stop reading. That's my advice to any writer. Read.
Okay. Thank you to all of you. Some excellent advice. Everyone out there, Pick up the paper. How do you write? You write on it. Right now. Kathy.
What I discovered in my work was that what really fueled me was my fascination with this country that I come from, and that would then include the province and town that I came from. So a great deal of my theater career was devoted to new work, things like The Farm Show or The Farmers' Revolt of 1837, things about this country that interest me. And I've used that to sustain me. In a sense, as well, I feel that the highest approval that I can get for what interests me about my work is the accolade of people that I grew up with and where I came from. So to a certain extent, Saskatchewan to me is the repository, shall we say, of my standards and my goals.
Imagination, dedication, and motivation to survive. They also need an audience. And what better way to reach great masses of people all at the same time than through motion pictures? The magic of movies came to Saskatchewan in 1901, but it wasn't until 1930 that we got our first taste of movie making.
One doesn't say the word film in this province without adding the name Dick Bird. He was the master. It was a new medium on its way to becoming an art form, and Dick Bird was in at the beginning. He had worked in Hollywood briefly and came to Canada in 1913, catching history on the run. Everything from the visit of Edward, Prince of Wales, to the arrival of immigrants from Europe. He settled in Regina making films for the government of Saskatchewan. Bird Films became the first film production company in the province. As such, he was involved in what was Saskatchewan's first venture in dramatic films. Well, sort of. In September of 1930, the Leader Post and the newly opened Broadway Theatre promoted the making of a local film based on the Our Gang comedies. The director, Sammy Fox, was an acquaintance of Dick Bird from his Hollywood days. For 2 weeks, the newspaper encouraged the kids to audition for parts in the movie. Everything went smoothly. Dick Bird shot the film, titled A Free Ride. A week later, it was playing at the Broadway. These outtakes are all that is left of the short movie. Legend has it that the mysterious Sammy Fox skipped town without paying Dick Bird. We don't know what happened to Sammy Fox, but Dick Bird later went on to become this country's best-known nature and wildlife filmmaker.
Grandma McMurray would probably say it's God's will.
Still, it would be several generations before a truly Saskatchewan film industry took hold. Who Has Seen the Wind? The story of a young boy learning about life and death on the Saskatchewan prairie in the summer of 1935 was the watershed event.
Sometimes life seems as cruel. That's part of it. But there are the good things, too.
Like what?
Like being young and healthy. Finding out all about life.
The W.O. Mitchell novel was shot in Arcola in 1976 by Canadian producer-director Alan King. Part of the financing deal with the provincial government was the training of 35 neophyte filmmakers who worked as crew on the production. Many of them are the independent producers in Saskatchewan today. Heart and Soul by Camera West.
Hi. What's your name?
Annie.
That's a pretty nice name. Are you a pretty nice guy? You like the Star Wars stuff, don't you?
Yeah.
You know what I think?
Jimmy's Game by Saskatchewan Film Pool Productions.
Hey, this is my boy. Don't get excited.
Damn! Bloody fool!
In 1984, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation also realized it was important to see regional drama on its network. Saskatchewan Stories, by Saskatchewan writers, performed by Saskatchewan talent, and produced right here, were soon on our home screens.
Mike, no!
Action-adventure like Tiger Moth.
Well, then, we have to have another partner, Shlomo.
We have to have faith.
And comedy like Partners.
Oi, that's it. God is testing us.
God is testing us again.
Herschel, listen to me. Would God have helped us escape from the old country and come all this way if he had wanted us to fail?
Well.
You see, Herschel, you are right. You are right. We do need another partner.
But whom?
Him.
Who? Him.
Him, partner? No, look who's Meshuggah. Dear Lord, King of the universe, master of all you survey. You must have noticed us here in Finstead, Saskatchewan.
Now, with the involvement of Telefilm, the National Film Board, and the persistent struggle of independent filmmakers, the Saskatchewan Motion Picture Industry Association is at the threshold of a new era.
Well, as you saw in that piece, it is independent filmmaking that's really going to pave the way for the movie industry in Saskatchewan. And we have a pioneer and also a film pioneer with us tonight. We have Thaddeus Cornell and his family. Thaddeus, thank you for dropping by here to the Sedco Center.
Oh, no problem.
Now, how did you get involved in the film business?
Well, actually, it was the boys here, Jim and Kirby. Kirby, take your hat off. It was the boys, Jim and Kirby, who first had the idea.
That's right. Dad here sent us to town to pick up some drought assistance
forms, and we ended up in the wrong line.
And when we got to the front of the line, we realized that what we'd done is pick up application forms for a Saskatchewan film grant.
Yeah, and instead of waiting in line for another hour and a half, we decided it was time for Dad to diversify.
When the boys first came home, Dad and I thought they were crazy.
That's right, I just about kicked their butts all the way around the yard.
Now, Tad.
Okay.
But after we had a bit of discussion, we thought, what the heck?
What's the title of the film?
Well, that's a clincher, you see, because we don't really have a title. The film really isn't finished.
But basically, it's about the harsh life and death reality of the harsh life on the harsh and barren, harsh prairie.
How harsh can you get?
Harsh.
Pretty harsh.
Now, I understand you brought some outtakes with you tonight that we can take a look at?
Oh, yeah, that's right. They're pretty good.
All right, let's have a look at them on your monitor, please.
All right, we're rolling. Mother depressed. Take one. Cue wind. Action!
It's a harsh life, a cruel life. Why do we face it day after horrible day? Why don't we move to the city and leave this hellish life of work and strain and work and strain? What time is it?
It's 4 o'clock, Mom.
Oh dear, I've got to get supper on.
Cut. Dream sequence number 1. Jim being haunted by his own conscience. I tell you, I gotta go. Don't you see? I gotta go. I gotta leave the farm. No, leave me alone. Get away from me. Get away from me! No!
Supper's on!
What?
Supper!
Supper's on. Are you all right with that thing, Mother?
I think so.
All right. Let's butcher Blackie. Take one.
Okay.
I tell you, Kirby, if we want to eat, we have to butcher Blackie. But I raised Blackie from a calf. He thinks he's a dog. Now some things just have to be done. Let me pass. You'll have to kill me first.
What?
You all right, Mother?
I think so.
All right. Cut!
Sorry.
All right.
Did you actually have a script for this film?
Oh, yeah, we worked intensely on it. For quite a while. It was exciting to make.
I think it shows.
Oh, without a doubt.
When will the film be finished?
That's hard to say.
That is hard to say. These artistic films don't make much profit, but Kirby and I have already started work on a low-budget, high-grossing horror flick.
Yeah, our working title is Blackie's Revenge, or Beef of the Living Dead. That's right. Say, Peter, if you have a little bit of time, Kirby over there does a really mean impersonation of the singing saw at the X.
What's that got to do with film, though?
Well, he just does it. He's pretty good.
It's good.
Go ahead, Kirby.
Do it, Kirby.
Okay. Well, we look forward to seeing the film, right?
Right. Oh, sure.
Back to Regina.
Thanks, Peter. Now, I think Terry Marner might say that that has nothing to do with film.
It had nothing to do with anything, as far as I can see.
Terry is head of the University of Regina School of Film, or Film Department, as it is now, but School of Film might be nice, too, someday. Tell me something. We hear an awful lot of talk of big motion picture production companies coming into the province to shoot bits of film or maybe a whole film. Are we kidding ourselves here?
It's quite possible that films are made here by external producers. They bring in money of a certain kind. On the other hand, it's again nothing to do with the film industry in this province, which has to develop from its own roots here and export its material outside the province. So I wouldn't say no to somebody coming and spending a few $1 million. It's very helpful. On the other hand, we mustn't kid ourselves that everything that's going to be done in this province has to be done by our own filmmakers. To this extent, I think it's important that we have good training here, and that's what the university's film department is giving. Secondly, we have to have an organized film community, and that's what the Motion Picture Industry Association is. It's been in existence for 2 years, and what's been remarkable in the 2 years is that for the very first time, all the filmmakers in the province and people associated with film have come together and formed a very effective political lobbying unit. And this is showing great dividends. One of the things that we're waiting to hear about is a government film office. It would be nice to have a government film development fund. Already there's a National Film Board training program being established here. All these things are extremely helpful.
They seem to have been integral to the development of film in Ontario and in British Columbia. The groundswell of film production that's happening there has had to do with government support.
The fact is that the paradox is that film is a very private enterprise activity, but in Canada is totally dependent upon public money, and with, you know, small exceptions. The fact is that the film industry here is in constant contact with what's going on in Alberta, in Ontario, and the coast. I'm a member with others in the province of the Canadian Film Academy. In 2 or 3 weeks, we'll be having Gemmy Award jury work in this city. So we contribute. We're very conscious of a contribution, not just to Saskatchewan film production, but to the overall Canadian film industry. They know we exist, and all the time we're trying to persuade the powers that be, one level of a government or another, that what we have is viable. We have the film technicians here, we have the craftspeople, we certainly have the actors, we certainly have the writers, and all we need is that little bit of a push to bring these things together. And the last 4 or 5 years have seen so many dramas being done here, not just in the professional community, but even at the university, that we can see things happening.
There are a lot of people around this province involved in film. Let's go to Saskatoon and meet some more.
Thank you, Bruce. With me is Marion Miles. She works with a casting agency, Marion Mills, thank you. Right. And also Dennis Nakoni. Now, Dennis, you're also involved supporting the film industry in Saskatchewan.
That's right, you know, and it's been a long time. I have to tell you that, Terry, lighten up a bit. Yeah. Really, the history of the film industry in the last 10 years has been really quite crazy. In fact, as an arts consultant and helping out some of the industrialists get organized to create their provincial association, at the beginning it was really like the guy who was learning how to skydive, and he was up in his airplane and he was told, you know, count to 3, pull the cord, and if anything happens, wait and then pull your emergency chute. So here he is, he jumps out, and this is the relationship between the consultant and the industry, really. We're deciding that it's time to organize the industry. So I'm in the airplane, I jump out, I pull the cord, nothing happens. A couple of seconds later, I pull the emergency chute, of course, nothing happens. So I'm pretty nervous, hurtling down towards the earth at 100 miles an hour, and I look, and there's a filmmaker coming up towards me, and I say, "Hey, do you know anything about parachutes?" And he says, "No, do you know anything about gas barbecues?" We're really in the business of trying to find out from each other what to do next. And I'm telling you, and when you get an organization together like this, there's lots of ups and downs. We're right in the middle of it now, and I think, Marion, you could probably tell us more about that.
Yeah, I probably can, right. Yeah, lighten up, Terry. I've just been at a meeting all day. It's not that bad, you know. No, I'm also a member of the Saskatchewan Motion Picture Industry Association, and quite seriously, for a minute, I got to be serious, because I've been toying away with this since 1972, you know, hoping that we would get film happening here, and it is happening now. And I was just on a feature, well, I shouldn't say feature made for television, Saskatchewan written, Saskatchewan produced. We crew were from Saskatchewan, and it's going to be out next year. That's one example of what's happening here, and that's more than just a half-hour drama, and we've been doing some great half-hour dramas recently. So, and Dennis and I go a long way back in this. We've been pushing for a long time, good many years.
Okay,
I'm happy to hear that.
Let's get some reaction from Marner down in Regina.
Well, I think I agree with what both of them say. The fact is that it's an extremely difficult business, but at the moment, film's on a roll in this province for the very first time. Filmmakers, in one way or another, have been trying to get attention for the last 15 or 20 years. At long last, the product is actually there on the screen, and I'm quite confident that in a couple of years, the first native-born, if you like, Saskatchewan feature will be produced.
Can we lighten up now, though?
Can we lighten up?
You were told to lighten up.
I was told to lighten up, okay.
I wonder if we're going to see...
I'm not a front-of-camera person, really.
Okay. What sort of films are we going to see, though? Are they going to be the typical Saskatchewan films?
What is a typical Saskatchewan film? I'd like to know that because I haven't seen one. So how about that?
No, the real point is that it's an international industry, and a lot of the feature films that are likely to be produced here are going to attract out of province, maybe out of country producers. This is certainly the case in BC, already. In Toronto, and Alberta. And the reality is when you can get the production base going.
Okay, we have to go back to Kathy.
Thanks, Peter. When we come back, we're going to take a look at the rich visual culture created by Saskatchewan artists.
I just came out here to get some peace and quiet and look at the Bentham.
Oh, is that what that is?
I like it.
Really?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I really never know what to make of these things. What do you like about it?
I just like it.
Well, you know, it has a certain balance and shape. I'll give it that. I'll give it shape. It has shape. And, you know, when you really look at it, the colors are kind of, you know, they work, don't they? I mean, really, the fact that they've got this rust thing here, you know, I don't love it. I'm not passionate about it or anything, but I could like this.
It's art!
I know, Chip. That's what I was saying, is that I mean, Chip, that's all I was saying, is that you've got to just understand that you've got to have an open mind. I'm open-minded about it. I could like this. Chip, I mean...
So Jennifer and Chip had some trouble defining art. Well, let's switch gears a little bit here and ask you, how would you go about defining native art? Do you go back to the early scratchings on the rocks many, many years ago, or to the time the white man arrived on the prairies, or through the years since? And then what about the new phase we're hearing about, one that's getting a lot of attention?
Up until a few years ago, if you came across any native art, this is what you may have seen. These paintings are by native artists Alan Sapp and Michael and Ken Lonechild. They're typical of the native realism that has gained worldwide recognition. But recently, there have been rumblings throughout the native art community. A new generation of young native artists have appeared on the horizon. Their new art is rich in imagery and form that is both traditional and contemporary.
When I went to university, I didn't care for abstract art or non-objective art. I couldn't understand it, and I was interested in realism. And for quite a few years after I went to university, I was involved with painting landscapes and houses. And to make a whole long story short, over a period of time, I just realized that for me, working in a realistic manner was not doing the job that I wanted to do.
So Bob began working in abstract, the avant-garde, an expression that combines mystical and spiritual powers with satire. Bob prefers this medium because it not only allows him total creative freedom, but it also creates an emotional response in the viewer. And those emotions are what Bob is after.
for some people, any kind of emotion response today is worth anything, you know. You walk down the street downtown and you see a lot of blank faces, especially in bigger cities like New York or something. Somebody will drop dead at your feet and they'll walk right over them. So, you know, there's not too much response, too much emotion going on in the world. And so if any response, whether it's an angry response, somebody says, yeah, I don't understand that, I hate it, and everything else, at least that's better than nothing. At least that's an emotional response.
The work of Bob Boyer and a host of other contemporary Indian artists expresses a proud heritage. Boyer's use of geometric symbols refer not only to his own Canadian native roots, but also encompasses nomadic peoples the world over.
It just so happens that I use a form of geometric design that was very ancient on the plains, northern plains and southern plains of America. That tradition of geometric design in the Americas goes back thousands of years. The use of color and ideas, trying to pull them together so that they express some of those things that I told you earlier about my ideas about how we treat each other as human beings, how we treat the environment, how we treat our own spirituality.
Many Saskatchewan artists have grabbed their share of the world stage. And one of them is Ernie Lindner, whose passion for art and for Saskatchewan is an inspiration to others.
At 91, Ernie Lindner spends these days in a private nursing home in Saskatoon, relaxing, playing chess. He doesn't paint anymore. His hands are gnarled, his eyesight is poor, and he suffers from a form of Alzheimer's. But others remember how his life used to be, busy and filled with surprise. Ernie Lindner achieved greatness as a Saskatchewan artist. People were willing to pay up to $20,000 for one of his paintings. But it's his contribution to the arts community that he's remembered and respected. Lindner emigrated to Canada in the 1920s. If he hadn't, life likely wouldn't have been that exciting. He was born in Austria in 1897. The youngest of 13 children, the last thing his parents wanted him to be was an artist. They wanted him to go into the family business, a manufacturing company, or become a banker. But in those days, Lindner's heart lay in forestry. Defying his parents, he came to Canada, the land of opportunity, to discover his dream. Lindner came to Saskatchewan during the Depression. He worked as a farm laborer. At first, he was dissatisfied with life in Canada. His English wasn't very good, so Lindner didn't make a lot of friends. To pass the time, he started drawing and painting. It wasn't too long before someone recognized his talent and asked him to instruct an art course at a local high school, then at the university level. Winona Mulcaster was one of his students. She says it was his instruction that allowed many students to make a career painting. Lindner always liked to challenge his students, force them to work harder. One of his favorite assignments was instructing at the art school in Emma Lake. It teaches artists even today. Lindner had a cabin on an island across from the camp. It was perfect for him. It kept him close to nature, an inspiration for his paintings. Some of his best work was done here. Another of Lindner's favorite activities was a ritual called Saturday nights, when young art students would gather at his home to discuss and debate their talent.
We were all so excited, we could hardly wait for Saturday night to come. And that Saturday night became a core of young, enthusiastic artists, and Ernie was really responsible for it. We'd sit up until 4 or 5 in the morning drinking coffee and eating donuts.
But Lindner was more than a teacher and an artist. He was a leader, paving the way for the artists of today. Caroline Heath, a family friend, helped write Lindner's biography.
He was, in fact, the instigator behind the Saskatchewan Arts Board, which was the first arts council in North America. It precedes the Canada Council and every other arts council.
She feels he was successful at establishing it because of his personality. Ernie Lindner never gave up on an idea he felt was right. For all his accomplishments, Lindner's best work was completed after he retired in 1964. He was able to paint full-time. He'd matured as a person and as an artist. It came across in his paintings.
Yeah, I think he's had a good life. And in fact, when he was 82, I remember him telling me that it was the best year of his whole life. And I thought, God, at 82, I hope I could say that.
As a teacher, as an organizer, as a painter, Ernie Lindner played a major role in developing Saskatchewan arts.
Thank you, Carol. Once again, we go back to nature as inspiration for so much of what we write about, act, paint, and sing. Right now, a song by the Dump Trucks about the land called Make Up My Mind.
The sun's going down, the sky's on fire. It changes from bright red to amber to blue. It means that I've lasted from morning to evening. It means that another long day is through. My feelings are down, my heart is on fire. It changes from empty to hurting for you. Time goes so slowly when you're watching and waiting. Time just drags on when there's nothing to do. I don't know why she left me in this bind. Don't know if I'm coming or gone. I can't make up my mind. But I will go down to wait at the station. Watch every car on each train that comes through. But I know her face won't be there at the window. I should go out tonight and find somebody new. Watch every car on each train that comes through. But I know her face won't be there at the window. I should go out tonight and find somebody new. I should go out tonight and find somebody new.
Humphrey and the Dump Trucks. Well, it's time to talk about some of the ways in which we manage to carry on art and cultural activities in this province. And I'm joined by two people who are very much involved in the culture of the province. First of all, Cal Abrahamson. You're involved, you're the executive director of the fastest growing, or one of them certainly, cultural organizations in Saskatchewan.
That's right. We have now 50 members, and we've grown from 15 members over the past 2 years.
This is the Community Theatre Inc.
Theatre groups, and about 80% of them are rural. We like to think that our contribution to the cultural community was helped through Saskatchewan lotteries, through the SCCO and their work, and we're very pleased that we've been able to progress as far as we have.
Why is it important you exist? Why is it important the lotteries support community theatre?
Well, from community theatre come the professionals. We are also joined by Saskatchewan Drama Association, which is a high school group, and they now share a common office space with us, and we do a lot of planning together, so that our planning has been a great contribution in terms of developing theatre. Saskatchewan Community Theatre has 5 festivals now. At one time we had only 1.
So it's the support of organizations like the lotteries that make this happen?
Entirely.
Pam Bjornson, you're the executive director of the Saskatchewan Writers Guild. Yes. Now, how does lottery money keep writers writing, or to keep the guild operating? What does the guild do for us? There's 3 questions in one.
Thank you.
Well, the Saskatchewan Writers Guild provides programs to writers who are members, other writers, and to the general public. What the lotteries assist us to do is to go out with public and educational programs into the schools, the libraries, all across the province, and put writers in schools for readings and workshops, for short-term residencies. It allows us to support member groups across the province. There's 30 of those. And it also allows us to do readings and tours around the province. We serve our members at all stages of development, all ages, and all types of writers. We have fiction and non-fiction, poets, journalists. We have pretty well every type of writing.
So you're using the lottery money really to put the writers and the public in contact. Without that resource, you wouldn't be able to do it.
Yes, and to develop the craft of writing as well, and to develop an environment where we want writers to feel comfortable here, be able to work here. And I think what we have is a place where writing can flourish and quality writing can flourish.
If Sask lottery money or some grant money doesn't serve the community, the base level of our culture, are we missing something? Will we miss out in the future?
I would say very definitely. In fact, until the lottery money came along, it was really only a few of the larger cities in the province that participated in any sort of program, and the high school program and the youth program through SDA was hampered severely until the money became available for the training and for the development.
I agree. We have student writers, we have mature writers, as you heard earlier from many authors in Saskatchewan, and those authors are continuing to work with writers at all stages of development. It's wonderful that they get to, students, high school students get to work with people like Ken Mitchell, like Anne Shumagalski.
Pam, Cal, thank you very much, and thanks to Saskatchewan Lotteries.
Thank you. Thank you.
Art is something I think that's always expressed, I think, the feelings that people have had about life. In whatever age and whatever time, I think art tells us a little bit about how people are. And it's not something that you can impose on someone. It's not a program. It's not an object. Although objects are a manifestation of one's life, of one's work.
Well, not many of us can sing like Brenda Baker or Humphrey and the Dump Trucks, and not many of us can dance like Diane Fraser of Regina. While most of us are doing the two-step, Diane is dancing the abstract. Here she is doing reflective image.
Well, you may remember if you tuned in earlier in the show in Saskatchewan Reflections, we had a poetry sweatshop. And Barbara, you were only given about a half hour with this word that we chose from the thesaurus. The word was concentrate, and you've come up with a poem. How did it go?
Not as well as I thought it would.
Not enough time?
Not quite enough.
All right, give it a try. Read it for us.
It's called Concentrate a Minute. Concentrate a minute on fall and how you move today. Below the skies, wait for frost, wait for the long dark. Look now, discern the crushed leaves frozen in your boot prints where you walked through the trees, shedding bare and easily.
Very nice. Barbara Fuchs. And also thanks to Dolores here for being part of the poetry sweatshop. I understand there's one more poem in Regina.
There is that, Peter. We have, I think, something that is poignant, touching, describes Saskatchewan. Chemistry teacher Ron Welgan, take it away. The word is melodious, and the theme is art.
Young farm boy in farmer's cap whistles to a meadowlark, hikes through grain that sways to the rhythm of prairie wind. Thump thump of old John Deere, counterpoint to gopher chatter, blends with wail of CPR to play Saskatchewan Symphony #1 hard.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Off the top of your head. You just wrote it down. One take.
No, I worked and sweated at that for a bit.
It was worth it. Thank you very much. We'll be right back with more Saskatchewan Reflections in just a moment.
Fate deals you a nasty hand. When you least expect it, you're stuck with a bill for unexpected medical costs, like ambulance service, hospital costs, or even out-of-province or out-of-Canada emergency medical expenses. Don't gamble with your family's protection. Get group medical services today.
Please try to keep up, or we won't be able to see all of the paintings in the gallery.
What's this piece here called?
Oh, this painting is called I Am Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, do you have to say it like that?
Well, of course not, but then that's art, isn't it? In this corner, we have our resident starving artist. Ooh.
Is he all right?
Oh, yes, he's probably just weak. He doesn't eat much, you know. Let's see.
Oh. Well, what's he doing there?
Oh, he's filling out arts grant application forms.
I see.
He looks just terribly hungry. You know, somewhere around here, I think I have a chocolate.
No, you mustn't give them that. It would stifle his creativity. Oh. We find that once artists have had a taste of the good life, they lose interest in art. They end up becoming politicians or something.
Oh.
Now, if you really have to feed him, you could give me $1 and I'll give you a peanut.
Oh, let's do it, honey.
Oh, all right. Here you go. Oh.
Go. Oh, it's best to toss it to him. He gets quite excited.
Yes, I see that.
Oh, look at this. He's not bad.
Yes, he's really quite good, and his work can be picked up for a very reasonable price. Now, rumor has it that his work will be much more valuable very soon, if you know what I mean.
I see.
Oh. Now, in this part of the gallery, we can look at some paintings of tiger lizards. Lovely, vibrant color. You just have to see them to believe them.
Ah, the starving artiste. Ah, the starving microphone. Somehow, the joys of live TV have just beset us. Just like, was it joyful for you, folks?
It was wonderful.
Oh, you're on.
Am I? I'm on.
This is Ken Kramer. Let's introduce the artists here who are going to talk about the future of art in Saskatchewan. Brenda Baker, of course, Rex Deverell, as we swing the cameras around, Vic Sikansky, Gabe Pendergast, Wilf Perreault. All right, now, we're doing pretty well. We've got some serious things happening in this province. What do we need to keep it up? What do we need in this province? More facilities? More money? What is it, Ken Kramer?
More money.
For what?
Pure and simple, lots and lots. Because the future of the arts in this province will not go on a very long way unless there is a significant increase in the amount of money that the arts organizations get, that individual artists get, that the museums get, that the symphonies get. I cannot tell you how close we are to a crisis.
But, Gabe Pendergast, do I need money? Do I need a grant to write a novel, to do a dance?
Yes, I think you do. If you're going to give the full attention that a professional has to give to their job, I have to say that we need more money in education as well, because our function is not only to assist in the training of artists, but to train audiences as well. And there is a crisis in educating students at every level, and funding for the arts in every level of education needs more money.
Vic Sikansky, what do we lose if we don't have that money?
What do we lose? Well, I think, for example, that artists function in society like bees do. If you build hives for bees, they're going to produce honey somewhere down the line. And I think the same is true of the arts. If you don't look after them, if you don't fund them publicly, with public funds, government money, if individuals and patrons don't support the arts, I think they begin to wither. They go elsewhere.
Rex Deverell, if we go elsewhere, if we're looking for some place to go, where do we look? Is there any other place right now that affords, say, for instance, what the lottery money has been able to afford in this province?
Yeah, there are other ways to go. You can leave the province if you're an artist. That's one thing you can do.
It's not a happy option.
You can stop being an artist. You can just work at anything that will keep body and soul together, taking away from any kind of work that you might be able to produce during that period. So there are places to go, yes, but they're not really happy places.
Brenda Baker, what has the Saskatchewan lottery money meant for you? I mean, is that important to your keeping body and soul together?
Well, for me, at this point, it's helped to create the education that I needed to be a writer, in a sense. I'm a member of the Writers Guild here in the province, and I've learned a great deal from other writers, and part of the reason that was possible is the Saskatchewan Writers Guild exists and gets money, and I benefit from that.
As a performer?
Well, as a writer, but I need written material to actually get up there and perform something original, right?
But you tour the province a lot, don't you?
That's right, and there's OZAC involved with that. That's the Arts Councils. And so, again, without that kind of network set up, it would be a bit of a problem for me.
Okay, let's go now to Saskatoon and hear more.
Thanks, Bruce. I think we can get some reaction to that. I'm going to start with Kay Noosh. Now, Kay, Nouch, I got it right that time? Now, Kay, you've been involved in theater in Saskatchewan for a long, long time with the Ageless Players. Now, you've had a perspective over a long period of time on this. What's the future of the arts in Saskatchewan?
Well, it's getting better every year, I must say, but the future, in the future, we've got to have more audience participation. We've got to do something to break this elitism that keeps the average person away from the theater. They think it's just for somebody in a certain class. And that's what I've been trying to do with my Ageless Players for the last 15 years.
How about you, Jeff? Jeff Ursell.
Well, I think there are exciting things happening both in playwriting and the development of plays and in publishing as well, which is something we haven't really talked about tonight. But there's a great deal of activity in publishing. It's one of the ways the writers get known across the country. And those things are really starting to develop, really starting to make writers known from Saskatchewan across the country. The same way in plays. Theaters like 25th Street has a play development program, which are developing plays by Saskatchewan writers. And those things are absolutely essential to the future of the arts in Saskatchewan, the places which will develop and promote the work of our artists here.
All right. From a writer to a painter, Alicia Popoff, now, is government money really the way to go? Is that how you survive? Or is it better that you get support on your own by going out and selling your work?
Well, obviously an artist wants to do both, but unfortunately it takes a number of years for a painter and any kind of an artist to develop, and we do need some kind of funding in the developing stages, hopefully, and at some point you want to become self-sufficient, but it takes a while.
Okay. Don Campbell, a playwright.
I agree very much with what Kay's saying, that we need to get rid of the idea that art is an extra thing that you only have if you want a luxury, that drama, because it is live, it is direct, has more impact than film and television, and it's something that we can do here in Saskatchewan without great, huge amounts of foreign involvement, that it's very important to us, and we've got to support it before we lose it.
Thanks, Don. And very quickly, last word goes to Dennis Nakoni once more.
Well, you know, all-star poet Stephen Scriber once said in his poem Stanislavski versus Grenfell, art is the guy who runs the Patterson elevator, and the only culture we have around here is agriculture. But let me say this. What's in the future is not in the pasture in Saskatchewan. I think our economy is going to change. We're going to find more and more that the arts are going to be a vital part of making employment, making people feel happy to live here.
Okay. Back to you, Richard and Regina.
Okay, everybody, of course, likes to talk about money, and we are going to do that along with recognizing some achievers right now. We talked to some people just a bit earlier about their backgrounds and how they made it with or without the help of money. So right now we're going to talk about the Saskatchewan Arts Board A grant winners. Now these are grants of up to $15,000 for major contributions in the arts field, and we do have the names of 6 winners for you, and we're going to bring them up on the television for you. Ken Mitchell, a writer here in Regina, is one of our winners. Wilf Perot. Well, we'll talk with Jeffrey Orcel first, Saskatoon writer. I'll follow along. David Carpenter, also a writer from Saskatoon. Miles McDonald, a painter from Saskatoon. Wilf Perot. There's Wilf, a painter from Regina. And another winner, we don't have his picture, he is Ed Dyke. We are told he is working in Europe right now. So we want to congratulate the Arts Board A grant winners. Saskatchewan Reflections returns right after this commercial break.
Yeah, I hope you get it published. Oh, I have had the greatest time. You would not believe. I was talking to Wolf Perot, and then I was talking to Joe Fafar about the cows.
Oh,
and,
yeah?
you know, if and also what I can't get over is that if I hadn't bumped into you here, it could have been so long until we actually... My friend Sarah did the restoration on that piece. She really did a good job, I think, don't you? Because, I mean, you can't see any of the rust that was on it. And actually, it's a very strong piece, I think, because of that. Now that the rust is gone. Seriously, now that it's gone, really, it's much better. Much better.
Okay.
Thousands of people around the province were just waiting for Chip to do something like that over the past 3 hours. Our time is just about up. We would like to say thank you from those of us down here at the Regina end of our broadcast. We'd like to thank all of our guests, performing, non-performing, as well, and our background people, our technical crews, and of course Saskatchewan Lotteries for making a major contribution to help put this production on the air. Thank you very much, and goodbye from our Regina party. Kathy?
And we'd like to thank the same people up here in Saskatoon, plus Sedgo Center Innovation Place, for allowing us to use their facilities tonight. And we've had a lot of fun up here. Good night, Richard.
Hope you enjoyed the show. Bye-bye, Kath.
Bye.
Reflections, a celebration of the arts, has been a CBC Saskatchewan production in cooperation with Saskatchewan Lotteries.
This is CBC Television.